Good morning, everyone.
Hi, Craig.
What a lovely group. All 8 of you. 9.
I can't believe that that's the only people here. I would have thought this would have been a great topic.
Oh no, there was like 50 something that signed up. Here they come.
Oh.
And they've probably heard me, most of my mastermind have heard me say this like 400 times. But it's always available on the recording, and I think that's what people are banking on, You know, everyone's busy now getting haircuts, and I'm getting my haircut today at 6 o'clock. It's a banner day.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's a big deal after how many months has it been?
I have not had my haircut in 3 months is when this started, and probably a couple of weeks before that at least. So yeah, 3.5 months. Yeah.
We can't go out here. Everything is closed. I mean, there is a curfew and all the roads are blocked near Newport.
Where are you located?
I'm in Costa Mesa, right near Newport.
Oh.
We have I think a 6 o'clock curfew, but I'm not sure they're going to keep it tonight. But I don't know.
It got moved to
No, everything is closed.
It got moved to what?
9 o'clock,
Okay, and is that for LA County?
LA County.
So I don't think there is one from Ventura County, and I'm on the border.
Oh, good.
I'll just go that way.
No, but supposedly Westlake and Calabasas and Agoura, Westlake, Thousand Oaks and Agoura are included in that LA because we're all so close together.
Oh, they are? Okay.
Yeah, it's part of LA County.
Well, no, it's Thousand Oaks.
No, that's out of
Yeah.
Ventura County.
Ventura, yeah.
Yeah, but supposedly we're so intermeshed, you
Right.
know, because of our lines that they're asking people to, you know, follow the rules.
Got it.
What time is it? 9 o'clock?
9 tonight.
Yeah.
I'm tired of following the rules.
Exactly. 9 o'clock, I'm okay with that.
They're saying
Yeah, I can be okay with that. At least the stores, the markets don't close at 4 o'clock like they did yesterday.
Oh, yeah, yesterday my bank closed at 2 o'clock.
Also, we protesters there. Like
We're not on curfew in San Diego County. It's only the unincorporated areas that are being,
Oh, good.
so the proper is not so far, but I'm not going out at night. We're not even walking the dog at night because
Who wants to anyway? Right, exactly.
well, you know, it's messing with me because I'm like a mile and a half in the morning and a mile and a half at night, and the dog is going crazy, but my son's half black, and there's no way we're going to go out after dark right now.
Yeah.
Not till things calm down. So
No, I get it. Well, and we're flying to Texas tomorrow, and Fort Worth has a little curfew maybe. So we're like, wow, we thought we were going safer area, but I guess not. There's no safe area. But the good thing that happened today is they all 4 cops got
charged.
Yeah. And the main guy got 2nd-degree murder now. So
Right.
that I think is gonna
So Craig,
calm down a little bit, hopefully.
Craig, we've actually had small, over 200 people, peaceful demonstration this week. But no violence, nothing, no curfews.
That's great.
Things are opening up.
Where are you at?
You
know,
were
we're
very
still
lucky.
still social distancing, still being careful in stores. Not everything's opened all the way.
Yeah.
It's coming out.
Yeah, she's in Frisco, Texas, where
Frisco.
my house is being built.
Great place.
Okay, so you'll be safe there, Craig.
Well, I hope I'll be safe there, yeah. I just want to get past the flight. I'm so freaked out on the flight about,
You have your hazmat suit?
I almost do.
Well, they say the airplanes are actually, the air in the airplanes is safer than anywhere else.
That's what
because of how they filter it.
They have great filters, extra filters right now. They clean the plane more than ever.
Mm-hmm.
So they say it's a good time to fly, actually. So.
Just gloves, sanitizer, and
And a hazmat suit.
and masks. You're okay.
Exactly.
You'll be fine.
Let's start this shindig for the 18 of you that are on time. And then more will join us, I'm sure. But once again, you know, this is the beauty of Zoom. It doesn't matter how many people are on live because you all get to watch it later. I'm going to mute you all just for the beginning. If you have any questions, once again, in between the presentation, please do not hesitate to unmute yourself and ask the question, okay? All right, so I'm going to share the screen. And I'm just going to share my keynote, which I learned from Mr. Chris Kobe. Share computer sound, even though I don't have any sound, but just to get used to doing that. And I'll hit play. All right, so, oh, that's interesting. Can you guys see slide number 2 up there? That's interesting. Let me try something.
No,
Oh, you cannot?
now can.
Okay, I know, but now, so what do you see on the screen? Is it just my one slide?
No,
Both
it's
slides.
Rock Your Life for Masterclass How to Get Speaking Gigs.
Is that the only slide that's up?
No,
That's
you
your,
have,
that's your
Your
presenter
Your on
mode,
deck
Craig.
slide is also up.
That's what I'm asking. Okay, that's weird.
Yeah. That's your presenter mode. Now just animate. Now just
Play.
do slideshow.
I did that.
Really? Now
Right.
that's odd.
But now you've got down the side as well.
Yeah, no, down the side I see, but that's until I hit play. But let me just try something else. I did that. And now I'm going to try. It's so funny. Like every time I do this, something else new like pops up, which is kind of.
I don't have problems with my PC.
Shut up. Shut up.
At least you can use it.
Still the same thing, right? I'm going to try this. I'm going to put that over there. I'm going to close this. And then I'm going to share screen.
Craig, are you using Keynote?
I am, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't everyone use Keynote?
no.
Okay, I have no idea why that's doing that, but that is the strangest thing that it's showing the deck for the first time ever.
Well, you've got your presenter switch on. That's PowerPoint language, but somewhere you've got it on presenter mode.
I understand. And now it just quit out of the program. So that's interesting. So talk amongst yourselves for a second.
Craig, this is just practice, more practice in adapt and adjust.
Exactly. Thank you. I know it is. You're right. It totally is. I'm just like, it's so weird that all of a sudden this is happening. And it never has happened before like this, and it's not in presenter mode. Oh.
Hey, Craig, pivot to the new normal.
Yeah, I know, right?
What's happening?
Navigator.
Is everything good happening?
Everything great is happening.
I love that. That's a positive response.
No, I'm glad I'm doing this in front of you guys. You know, you won't hate me tomorrow.
Never.
I can't figure this out. It's not in presenter mode. Huh. That is weird.
What's your challenge, Craig?
And this, I don't care if you guys see the on deck slide. I really don't care. But I'm just trying to fix it for future things. It's presentations where I don't want them to see the next slide. So when I hit play on my keynote, it usually shows the main screen, the one screen. But today, it's showing the next slide. Oh, there we go. I think I just did it. So it took a couple of seconds. Now let me see if it works when I share my screen. So share the screen. Here we go. Boom. You are now seeing one slide, correct?
Yes.
All right. One little button that I found.
Yeah.
It's always one little button. All right. We had 4 more people join us. So there we go. Okay, I'm gonna mute you guys. And once again, if anyone has any questions, please just unmute yourself and ask me the question. All right, so today is going to be how to get speaking gigs, the Rock Your Life Masterclass, how to get speaking gigs. Before I go into this today, I just want to share a trademark story, and this is why you should all be trademarking your stuff. I found out through people send me emails. I think Laurel, you sent me one recently about someone using Rock Your Life. That one wasn't really competing with me, but someone unbeknownst to me sent me an email alerting me to a podcast called Rock Your Life podcast. And she's this very nice 47-year-old woman who's a musician, and so she does this Rock Your Life podcast. And so I had to email her yesterday and say, hey, I noticed you've been doing this since December, but you can't because it's my trademark. And she hasn't responded back to me yet, but it's just interesting that because I have this trademark, can make her stop. And the reason why I want to make her stop is because she aligns perfectly with my podcast. So I own the trademark, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm such a jerk for making her stop, but she's only done a few so far. So now I want to nip it in the bud before if it becomes big. So anyway, because I have the trademark, I am able to do that and not have another Rock Your Life podcast. Whereas if she's saying something negative or bad on the podcast, there might be people out there that associate her with me because I wear Rock Your Life t-shirts now, and I have this brand, Rock Your Life. So this is the power of a trademark, and I just wanted to share that today. And then I wanted to share this. I was out this morning. I went to the bank, I went to Staples, I went to our new office. And while I was out, I was in the Staples parking lot. And I'm walking outside of Staples, and this guy, I'm gonna say he's about 45, 50 years old, walks past me and does a double take. You know, he can't see my face because I had the mask on, and he had a mask on, but he saw my shirt, this one. And he said, "Are you Craig Duswalt?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So he goes, I follow your Rock Your Life thing. Never met this guy before in my life. No idea who he is. He's not, I guess he's on Facebook. I haven't looked yet because I just got back. But it's interesting how powerful trademarking is and wearing your brand everywhere you go, because you just never know. So now there's a guy out there that has now met me. So now he's going to really look at my stuff more. But the fact that I was recognized in the Staples parking lot because my shirt said Rock Your Life is exactly what marketing is, exactly what we want to do. So that's another reason to A, trademark A, and B, get t-shirts made with your brand on it. And I have tons of people wearing Rock Your Life t-shirts that I throw out into the audience when I'm speaking. So every time I'm speaking, I throw out t-shirts, and it's great because it gets the crowd amped. But it costs me about $4 a shirt. I don't get the best shirts in the world, but I get good ones. But I buy in bulk. I buy like maybe 1,000 shirts, which is, thank goodness I have a storage unit. But I get them for bulk pricing. And I have a relationship with a new guy here in town that he'll have a booth at my events and da-da-da. So I get them a little cheaper. But I throw them out because I want people to wear those shirts. And I used to have Craig Duswalt's RockStar marketing on shirts, but no one wants to wear that. But Rock Your Life, that's a statement, you know? So think about that when you're marketing yourself and speaking gigs, throwing out t-shirts. I don't care if you throw out t-shirts as well. I'm not the first one that's thrown out t-shirts, I'm sure. So just think about that. So today we're talking about how to get speaking gigs. I'm going to go into a lot of speaking stuff today. But once again, if you have any questions, just stop me and unmute yourself and ask me a question. Our master class inspiring quote of the day. I have a couple of them because I was just feeling quotey. Zig Ziglar, I love this one. People often say that motivation doesn't last. Well, neither does bathing. That's why we recommend it daily. I just thought that was a great, great, great quote. Motivation doesn't last. Well, bathing doesn't either, and probably should do that every day. Although most people aren't bathing every day during COVID, I found out. It's just sad. Next quote by John Quincy Adams. If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. then we're talking about speaking today, and that's exactly what speakers do. Help people to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, and that makes you a leader. And last, I love this one. I saw this actually in line yesterday at the Ace Hardware store. People will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And that is like one of the best quotes I've ever seen, because that's exactly what a speaker does. A good speaker will make them feel something. Like Les Brown, well, all my speakers at my last Rock Your Life experience online, Les Brown, man, he made me feel something when he was talking about being in that church and he got an opportunity to say something to the congregation, and he just said, God bless you, thank you, or something like that. And the pastor got mad at him because he was this great speaker and he wasn't able to pull it out of his butt and say something inspirational. And he said, that will never happen to me again, Les Brown. And he was 18 years old, crying in his car, slamming his steering wheel. And it just like emotions ran over me. Like, how many of us get a chance to do something and we don't do it, or we didn't do good enough, and then we just like either cower or we take action and say that'll never happen to me again. And that's what he did, and he became, as you know, the #1 motivational speaker in the world. Masterclass, little fun things about speakers. This is a keynote speaker. Get it? Tonight we'll be talking about unlocking your musical potential. There you go. Next one. I love this. A pregnant pause is effective only if you've already said something, Mr. Speaker. And last but not least, these are motivational speakers. I think it says everything right there. All right, how to get speaking gigs. So I'm going to go through a whole presentation that I used to do this at my seminars a long time ago, and because my seminars are cut down from 5 days to 2.5 days now, I've cut out a lot of this stuff, but I brought it all back for my mastermind because it's great for you guys to have to refer to at your own leisure. After this, you can look at the presentation and you can see my PowerPoint and you can dissect it spot by spot, slide by slide, instead of just listening to me on stage and falling asleep, which no one has ever fallen asleep. All right, myths about being a speaker. Myths about being a speaker. You have to be a trained speaker to be a speaker. No, you don't have to be a trained speaker to be a speaker. I have no accreditations. I'm not in Toastmasters. I'm not in NSA. I'm not in anything, and yet I speak when COVID's not around. I speak all the time. This was a lineup with James Malinchak at one of his events a long time ago, and me, the untrained speaker, is on the same bill as Les Brown. So you do not have to be a credited speaker, a trained speaker. You just have to go on stage, in my opinion, and speak from the heart and share information about what you are an expert on. If you're starting to share information about something you don't know about, then that doesn't work. But if you know about something and you speak from the heart and you're organized and you have a clear message, then you can easily become a speaker. Now, today I'm going to talk about things about being a speaker. You don't have to be a professional speaker, but I do think that everyone should have speaking in their arsenal for even presentations, one-on-one meetings. All these things that I'm going to share today are beneficial for you, even if you're not a professional speaker. But if someone asks you in your church to come up on stage and say a few inspirational words, you don't want to do what Les Brown did when he was 18 years old. So you want to be prepared. It's all about preparation and having something in your arsenal if someone calls on you. So I used to do this in my masterminds when we have live masterminds. I still do it when we have live ones. I just randomly pick people out of the audience and say, go, do 10 minutes. And you know, some people sit there in the my mastermind audience. I've done this numerous times. And I say, all right, I'm going to pick someone out of our audience to just come up and do a 10-minute presentation. And about 50% of the room is like, hell yeah, pick me. But the other 50% is doing this now. They're like sitting in their seats going, oh, don't look at him. Don't look at him. Oh, look at this guy. Don't look at Craig. Don't make eye contact, because if he picks me, I'm screwed. You don't want to be that person. James Malinchak used to pick on me all the time. Craig, come up here and tell your story. and I'd have 10 minutes on stage, and I would kill it. I would kill it. I've had, I was in, I forget the name of it. I was in this MLM type thing, and I'm in the audience. I want to say Burn Lounge, but it wasn't. Oh, I forget what it was. Anyway, I'm sitting in the audience, and I'm kind of part of this MLM, but I'm sitting there, and the guy on stage saw me in the audience, and he had been to a RockStar Marketing boot camp, and he said, "Oh my gosh, Craig Duswalt's here from RockStar Marketing. Craig, why don't you come up and say a few words?" Now, most people would freak out at that, and I was like, he gave me like 5 to 10 minutes, I forget what it was, but again, I killed it because I have this 5-minute, 10-minute presentation that I did at Genius Network. I've done at James's, I've done there, and it's like all my best stuff in 10 minutes, and I talk really, really fast. And everyone, I just get a standing ovation all the time, and that's because I'm prepared. And that is what we all need to do, even if we're not professional speakers. Someone somewhere might say, "Hey, why don't you share that story about this?" Pat Wally has a great story in our mastermind about memorizing names. I tell the Brian Tracy story where I memorize names, and then Pat has this unbelievable story where he was in the back row of my seminar one year, and he hadn't been to my seminar. He signed up like 2 years prior, never could make it, finally gets there, sitting in the back row because he likes to move around. And all of a sudden, my event planner, I think it was either Tony or one of her crew, says the back row is reserved for the speakers. So she had to make a move because it was reserved for the speakers that was speaking on stage. So he got pissed off and he moved to the front row, way off to the side. And he was in his mind, he's like, "This sucks. I'm in a bad mood right now. How dare they make me move? Who do they think they are? I'm going to stay for this one session. Then I'm going to go up to my room for the next 3 days and just watch TV and just chill out because I'm not coming back to this seminar." And at the first break, just after he was thinking all this, I just happened to be passing by his side when a speaker was on stage. I tapped him on the shoulder and I said, "Hey, Pat Wally, good to see you." And he looked at me like, I haven't seen him in 2 years. I met him literally for 1 minute, and 2 years prior, but I remembered his name, and I tapped him on the shoulder. To make a long story short, he stayed the whole 3 days, signed up for the mastermind, and the rest is history. And that is the power of knowing your craft, memorizing names, but just being on stages and just being present, basically. All right, I digress. Number 2, must be a college graduate. Here's a myth. Must be a college graduate with numerous degrees. I graduated college, but I have 1 degree. It's a Bachelor of Science in Marketing, but you don't need a college degree to be a speaker. In fact, it's probably preferred that you had a messed up life and now you became a speaker because you got over whatever messed you up, and that's more powerful than everyone that had it, a speaker that had it really, really good. I have to use my wife's cancer story because I had a pretty blessed life. I don't have any horrible stories that happened to me. So I have to use my poor wife's horrible story. But you don't need a college graduate to be a college graduate to be a great speaker. You must be certified. I kind of said that before. To be a speaker, no, you don't need to be certified at all. Just need to speak from the heart, know what you're talking about, and be presentable and organized. There are no places for me to speak. Well, right now, you're correct. There are no places for you to speak right now. Everyone's speaking online, but that is still speaking, so virtual speaking. But there are tons of places to speak, and we're going to go through some of them in this presentation. But there are tons of places to speak, especially for free. My incredible fear is a sign I shouldn't speak. No, it's everybody's. I think it's the number 1 or number 2 fear, biggest fear in the world. 1 is death. Number 2 is public speaking. So if you have a fear of public speaking, which I do, and I did, and everyone says, "There's no way you have a fear." I do. I'm very shy. I'm very introverted. And you're all going to say, "No, you're not. No, you're not." Well, just watch me at a party. I tend to stay off to the side and just like hide, my wife and I. But on stage, I take on a different personality. And I learned that from Axl Rose. Axl Rose is the shyest person you would ever meet. And on stage, he looks like a crazed human being. But he's extremely shy. So that's why I started throwing out T-shirts in the beginning of my presentation, because A, I'm giving them a free gift, so they're not going to hate me anymore. B, as I get them all riled up and play a lot of cool music, so they're in a great mood, because music puts people in a good mood. So the rest of my presentation, even if I mess up and say the word 400 times, they're going to excuse me because I gave them a free gift and I made them feel good playing music. So that's how I got over my fear now. I still get little butterflies before I go on stage, but I would not say I have a fear anymore because I've done it so much. So the more you do it, the more you get used to it, and pretty much have no fear now. I get excited before I go on stage, but I do get butterflies still, and that's why the throwing out the t-shirts makes me feel very comfortable when I get out there. Okay, why become a speaker? And when let me just preface, why speak? You don't have to become a professional speaker, but why you should learn to speak. Number one, those who tell stories rule the world. It's all about story. Bo Eason has a great program. A lot of our mastermind people have been through it, is coming up with your story. What is your story? My wife has a great story, like I said, so I have to use her story incorporated into my story. Now, I have cool stories because I toured with these bands, so I have very cool stories, but I don't have that story that just rips people apart and goes, wow, if that person can do it after what they've been through, then I can do that as well. But if you have great stories, that's how you become a great influencer, a great speaker, and a great business person for that matter. Number two, by stepping on a stage, you are immediately perceived as an expert and a celebrity. This is so true. I've seen it time and time again. Even when I go to seminars now and I don't know who's speaking, I don't know the speaker, but they're on stage, and I say to myself, wow, they must have done something. They must be good at something to get on the stage. It does not matter how big the stage is, doesn't matter how small the stage is. If they're on a stage, I am perceiving that they are great at what they do, or they're some sort of influencer or some sort of mini celebrity in that field. So that is the perception, and that's why you should speak. You immediately become known as an expert and celebrity in your field. People love why you should speak, to put a face to who they're going to work with. You have a better chance of getting people to sign up for coaching programs, mastermind programs, anything like that, to buy your online courses if they can put a face to who they're going to work with. And the best way to do that, obviously, is to speak to them. Now, it could be virtually on Zoom, or it could be on a stage somewhere. It's a great vehicle to send potential clients. So for years, I've been going around speaking at other seminars, or just speaking at local local associations and networking groups, or just Chamber of Commerce events, or just networking in my local community. If I didn't have a speaking situation, it's hard. Where do you send people? And I know you can say, I send them to my website, and I get that. That's fine. I send them to my lead page. But wouldn't it be great to send them to something that you're being perceived as an expert and celebrity at? So the reason everyone should be a speaker at some extent, not necessarily professional, lunch and learn, something like that, is a place that you can say, hey, I'll be doing a presentation at the Holiday Inn 2 Thursdays from now if you want to see me. So it's a great place and a great vehicle to send potential clients. If you don't have anything scheduled like that, what do? You send them to the website just like everybody else does, and that's not RockStar marketing. Extra income. I am blessed that it's not even extra income. My keynote speaking is my income, along with the mastermind. But if you're just starting out, it is extra income. I mean, you can make money as a speaker. It's a very lucrative industry if you know what you're doing. Keynote speaking is very lucrative, and I believe it's going to come back with a vengeance when it comes back, because everyone's going to be clamoring to get speakers. And in the end of this presentation, you're going to have an opportunity. It doesn't cost anything. An opportunity to sign up for RockStar keynote speakers. We're dead right now, obviously, but you being in the mastermind, if you are a speaker and if you do your own events, even if they're lunch and learns, and you are an expert at something, you can sign up for rockstarkeynotespeakers.com, and my wife will try to get you speaking gigs. Hasn't been happening, obviously, since late February, but it is going to come back. And number 6, speaking is the most effective way to offer your products and services. Yes, you can sell them online. We all try to sell products and services online. But if anyone saw me at the Women Network about 3 years ago, I think I saw there were 200 and something people in the audience. 40 of them are already my mastermind members, and I sold a package, I want to say for $697 or $797 or $897, forget what it was, but I sold 84 packages. And so it's a great place to offer your products and services because you just had an interaction with them, a live interaction, and then they want to buy your products and services. On the other side, if you don't have products and services to sell from the stage, it's going to be hard to get speaking gigs, and I'm going to talk about that in a little while. But it is a very, very effective way to sell your products and services if you are on a stage or even doing virtual Zoom events as well. Speaking will help you with your everyday presentations. If you become a decent speaker or a pretty good speaker, which is not hard to do, when you're doing presentations one-on-one, or you're trying to get a sales gig for a corporation because you're going to help train their sales force in something specific that you teach. Well, you got to do a presentation to get that gig, and the best way to do a presentation is to understand how to be a speaker, because your presentations will be way, way better than they are if you aren't a speaker. It's just a natural progression. Number 8, speaking will help you become a better networker. I'm way better now talking to people at these networking events because I speak all the time, and I can rattle something off. If someone gives me a topic about something, I pretty much can talk for 10 minutes on it now, because you have to think on your feet as a speaker. I've been doing this for 15 years now, I think, and I can think on my feet really, really, really well. So if you're in a networking situation and someone brings up a subject that's non-political, because I will not play that game. If someone's talking politics, I leave the room or I leave that section. But if they're talking about business or something, or motivation, inspiration, or something like that, you could come up with any topic and I can ramble. And I think the more you speak, the better you will get at that, instead of just listening. It's great to listen to, but it's great to participate in the conversation. Number 9, you can use the video to promote you and your business on the internet. The video is very, very important, and a lot of people do speaking gigs and they forget to video, or they don't videotape it, which boggles my mind why anyone would do that. But it's so easy now to have a friend stand in the back of the room with your iPhone and just do it for you. At least you have something. But it would be really great if you had it on a tripod. You still can use an iPhone and just get like the back of the audience heads and show that you spoke at this thing. And even if you get called up at some random thing and someone says, hey, Craig, why don't you come up here and share? As you're walking to the stage, you hand the person in the front row, can you do me a huge favor and film this for me and just be prepared? And they'll do it because they're going to think that you're part of the gig now, and they'll want to help you. It happens all the time. So just hand someone your phone and say, can you do me a huge favor? Please film this for me. And you should do it. Even if you're going to suck on stage, just do it, because you might say something that's brilliant by accident. No, because you guys will all say great stuff. All right, speaking gigs. I'm just going to throw out types of speaking gigs just because it's a speaking thing, and then we're going to get into the how. These are the types. So small seminars where you share information. Just a small seminar, small room where you're just going to share information. Those are small seminars. Workshop where you teach someone. So seminars is more of the what to do, what you should do. That's in my mind. A workshop is actually where you actually teach someone how to do something. So like the Kartra thing that I did for 4 hours, I called that a Rock Your Life workshop, because it was teaching actually how to do it. This would be more like a seminar, because I'm not, even though I am going to tell you how to get speaking gigs, but up until that point, this would be like a seminar, why you should speak, myths about speaking. That's more like an overall, just get the feet wet seminar. But a workshop will teach people actually how to do something. Teaching a class at a college is a great speaking gig. My goal in life is to get my master's degree. I started doing it and then I got overwhelmed with it because I was taking 3 classes at once and running a business and with kids. not a good idea. Not 3 classes at once. So anyway, I'm still going to get my master's, and because my goal, my bucket list is to teach at a college when I use the term retire, but I'll never retire, but teach at a college later on. And if we do move to Texas, I would love to teach at either Baylor, TCU, North Texas, University of Texas, any of those that are right in that area. Preferably TCU, obviously, because it's close. So teaching at a college and as an adjunct professor, you know, you don't have to be a full-time professor. You just teach one class, 2 classes. Paul Becker, retired Rear Admiral Paul Becker, who's in our mastermind, does that. He teaches at University of Virginia, I think it is, some course about something to do with something important. I forget the course that he teaches. But anyway, but he gets a nice little extra salary teaching a class at a college. Number 4, MC at local charity events. I used to do this a lot. I still do it. I was supposed to be an MC at a local charity event on May 14th in here in Westlake, but it got canceled, obviously. But MC, man, it gets you in front of all the, at a charity event, gets you in front of all the business leaders at that place, because charity events are usually attended by people with money, because the charity gets them to come where they hopefully will buy something for the charity, spend money to raise money for the charity. So as an MC for these events, you're hobnobbing, and you're the expert now because you're the MC, you're hobnobbing with all the business leaders in your community. This should be a focus for all speakers. And even if you're not even a speaker professional, but you do presentations and you know how to talk in front of an audience, you should put your name in the hat for your local community. Start with the Chamber of Commerce. I hosted many of their events, the Santa Clarita Chamber of Commerce, numerous charity events, and I've been an auctioneer, and I don't even know how to do that, but I've done that. That is a great thing to do for speaking gigs. Now, you're probably not going to get paid because it's a charity event, but once again, I do it and you should do it because you're going to be in front of so many people, and if you're halfway decent good, you get to tell them, like, hey, this is Craig Duswalt with Rock Your Life, and you get to tell them a little bit about who you are so they know who you are, and then the rest is history. And then people will come up to you after the event and say, hey man, you were great, good, thank you for doing this for the charity. So are you a speaker? Do you do events? Happens all the time. Number 5, a guest speaker at networking groups. There's BNI, Lit Tip, there's thousands of them. Provisors, I think they're called. So just a guest speaker at any networking event is like those 7 o'clock at the IHOP, the local IHOP. They have 20 people in the room. I do those a lot. I used to. I don't do them as much now just because I'm lazy and I don't want to get up at 6:30 in the morning. Well, I still get up at 6:30 in the morning. But anyway, I haven't done those recently, but you should do them. They're great. Number 6, guest speaker for associations, a little bit bigger than a networking group. So there's associations out there that look for speakers all the time. They're usually local associations. Number 7, a college and or a youth speaker. So the college speaker is obvious what that is. You speak at colleges. Youth speaker is for high schools and maybe even middle schools. So colleges, just so you know, a college speaker gets about $2,500 for Division II, Division III. Division I colleges, they tend to pay maybe $5,000 to $10,000 for a speaker. If you're a comedian, you actually get a little bit less. So if you're a speaker, so Adam Ace is in our mastermind. He's the #1 college comedian. He's won College Comedian of the Year like 3 or 4 years in a row. He just wins all the time. But he also speaks at colleges. And when he's a comedian, he gets, I'm going to make up a number, $2,000 for Division II, Division III. But when he's a speaker, he gets $2,500. And he does this whole thing when he's doing his routine, whatever it is, speaking or the comedian. He gets up on stage, he goes, so my name is Adam Ace. I'm a speaker and a comedian. When you're not laughing, that's the speaker part of the presentation. And just the way he puts it is so funny. But just know, if you're a comedian, it's a little less money. So speakers get more money for colleges. Youth is very low paying. It's high schools. They don't have a huge budget. But, you know, you get paid like maybe $500 or $1,000. But if you're a youth speaker and you're only a youth speaker and you start getting known as a popular youth speaker, you might be able to get more money than that. But that is 2 more ways of making money as a speaker. Speaking to colleges, which I do. I've spoken to youth because I've spoken at my kids' high school a couple of times. By the way, the most intimidating talk I've ever done was speaking to 1,000 high school students. I was freaking out nervous. I'll speak to whatever adults, but 1,000 college kids that are like half paying attention to you. They're talking to their girlfriend, they're making out in the audience, and you're trying to do a presentation. It's very, very tough to be a youth speaker. So I start colleges now, and I only did them for I'm not going to do youth anymore. It's tough. Number 8 is a keynote speaker for corporations. So keynote speaker means you get paid, usually, to speak at a big event, trade shows, corporations, conventions, all those type of things. That's a keynote speaker. And then what we do, you would be more of a presenter at large multi-speaker events. So let me just clarify. The keynote speaking is mainly you get paid for it and you speak somewhere. Presenter at large multi-speaker events is something that a lot of entrepreneurs do, where it's like tons of speakers. I don't love those because it's speaker after speaker after speaker. There's no real MC. Well, there's an MC, but they're not really on stage a lot. But it's just speaker sell, speaker sell, speaker sell. But that is one version. And then I like this one as a promoter at my boot camps. I have some guest speakers, but everyone is not selling. A lot of just information. I just like those way better. Now, these are great. Presenter at multi-speaker events. If you could go in with the attitude of, I'm probably not going to sell a lot here, but I'm going to get my name out in front of all the other presenters and speakers and this audience. Because if you're competing against a bunch of speakers trying to sell your stuff, and they're selling their stuff, and everyone's selling, the audience is going to get overwhelmed, but it's still a great gig. Now, you might have to pay to be on this stage. So here's the difference between in my mind, these 2 things. Presenter at large multi-speaker events and more of a promoter at one of my boot camp, like my boot camp, putting on my boot camp and being a guest speaker at my boot camp. This one, you're probably going to pay to be on the stage and you're not going to sell a lot because, like I said, everyone is speaking. But if you go in with the attitude, I'm not going to sell a lot and it's worth it to me because I know there's going to be 500 people here, and the other speakers that I'm speaking with are well known, then you go in with the attitude, all right, I'm going to pay this money just to be on the stage, and if I sell a couple, then that's just gravy. But you got to go in with the mindset of you might not sell a lot, so just make sure it's not going to break the bank just to speak on the stage.
Craig?
Hold on 1 second. I charge also to speak on my stage, but you have a way better chance at selling because I have less people selling. Yes, Tony?
If you go in with the attitude that you pay to be on the stage at the previous one, and you go and give, and you ask for emails because you have a free gift, you're going to walk away with more clients than if you were there selling, because everybody's going to want something for free because everyone else has been selling to them all day.
So, right, if you're against, once again, exactly, because if you go in with that mindset that I'm just going to get a database out of this, then you win. You know, you're still getting something out of it. And you just got to make sure, though, at these multi-speaker events, though, that the promoter will allow you to do that, because some of these, well, most of these multi-speaker events, not only are you paying to be on the stage, you have to split 50-50. So if you give away free stuff, they're not going to let you do that, but just ask. If you're allowed to do that, knock yourself out, because that's a great way to get your database bigger. It would be better because of like if I did that, I would have to manually enter everybody's name in the audience into Kartra, because they don't allow you, well, they do allow you to manually do that, but they don't like it if you do that like 100 names. But if you had an iPad or something there, a couple of iPads, and you're prepared, and you set those up, and they just have to enter their name, first name, and their email address into your opt-in, that's gold. That is so gold. You set up 3 iPads at the back of the room and have 3 lines, just giving their name and email address, click done, click done. That's how you get them in. I've seen speakers do that. That's what you should do. All right, how to get speaking gigs. Here we go. The biggest way to get speaking gigs, and I've said this since day one, is you must put on your own seminar or your own boot camp, your own event. If you are just a speaker that wants to be a guest speaker on other stages, it's possible. People have done it, but it's way harder unless you're so established by now. Like Les Brown still does his events. He still does his own events, but Les Brown would not have to do events, and he would still get on stages because he's Les Brown. So there are people that have, done the work. They've built the foundation. They've done for years their own events, and now they're not doing them anymore, but they're still getting on stages. That's totally different. But if you're starting out and you want to get on other stages, you have to put on your own event, and it does not have to be huge. So many people. Okay, so Tony Caruso does events for about 60 to 100 people. Is that about right, Tony? 60, 100? Okay.
They're like 45 to 50.
Okay, 45 to 50. So, but her events at the local Los Robles golf course are amazingly great. They have centerpieces, because she knows Sarah, Buck's mom, and it just looks amazing. And I'm speaking for her in I think it's Plano, right? Texas?
Yeah, Dallas.
Dallas.
Yeah.
On September 11th, and at this gorgeous place, which like she showed me pictures, and I think it's max 60 people, correct?
Right.
Yep. And I'm flying. I just happen to be there that weekend, so I'm going to be speaking there. But if I didn't know that she put on great events, there's no way I would do this, because I'm only there 3 days. But I know she's going to put on a great event, and she's going to get people to come. So she's now a player in the industry, and she only puts on events for 45 to 60 people. So you don't have to put on these huge, gigantic events, but she gets speaking gigs because they know I want to speak on her stage, even though it's only 45 to 60 people. So it's not overwhelming, yet she still gets great speakers. It's like great speakers. Kerry Murphy spoke at hers. I even took Kerry Murphy at one of mine because I met her. I had known Kerry, but I'd never met her before, and I met her at Tony's event. So you don't have to, point is, you don't have to put on events for 500 people. 45 to 60 people is really not that hard. It's not. And it might seem overwhelming at first, but even if you do 20 at first, you put on 20, it's still great. And then you work up to 45, 50. 50 people in a room is great. It's a very good vibe, great vibe. So anyway, put on your own seminar or boot camp, and then you are a player in the industry, and then you will get on their stages, and then you swap stages. That's the whole thing. It's all about swapping stages, especially when you first started out. That's how I made it in this industry. I got 250 people at my first seminar, and I got Brendan Bouchard, Brian Tracy, and I had all these people because I had 250 people. And then I spoke on theirs and others because they were like, who the hell is this guy? How did he get 250 people? So I just asked, would you speak? Like Joe Polish. I had 892 people sign up for the online thing. And Joe Polish, even though there were only 300 people live or 280, whatever it was, 260 even, but most people are going to download it and watch it later. It's all about numbers, and it's all about consistently putting on an event. So put on your own event, even if it's small, it's okay. You're just a player. This is a big one. This is how I started, really, what I did locally, is I would volunteer at other people's events in my industry. So James Malinchak, I would always volunteer at his. Mike Koenig's, I volunteered at his. Tony Robbins, I was one of the crew few times at his. So I did that with people and events, and then you know people that know people that know people. And when I first started out, I had a lot of their people volunteer at my events as well. But being a volunteer in the industry that you want to be in at their events, you could usually get in for free. Like Mike Wolf does Brendan Bouchard's events all the time. He's a big volunteer at his events. I don't know if Mike is on right now. No, he's not. But he obviously doesn't, I don't think he has to pay to get in, but now he knows Brendan. He knows all the people that know Brendan, and Brendan Bouchard is pretty huge. So those arms go out everywhere. So that's just by volunteering. Discover what makes you different. This is how to get speaking gigs. So there's tons of marketing speakers, and because I put the word RockStar in front of it, I tend to get more speaking gigs. There's something that makes us all a little bit different than everybody else. You need to discover what that is so that you stand out just a little from all the other marketing speakers, all the other leadership speakers, all the other weight loss speakers. There's something that you have that we're all unique that we have that is totally different. Create a brand that complements other speakers. So while I speak on marketing, I still get gigs at marketing events because I also have how to write a book in 30 days. So if I'm trying to get on a stage where it's a marketing convention, the last thing I'm going to talk about is how to be a rock star marketer, because they'd be like, hell no, you're not speaking on my stage. But if I say, I'll take one piece of what I talk about is how to write a book in 30 days, then I'm all over that, because they're like, oh yeah, that's one piece of marketing that I don't even touch, is writing books. So yeah, you help them write books. So I compliment other speakers. I see what they're talking about. I can teach people how to get on stages. I can teach people like membership sites. There's a lot of things now that I could teach that's one piece of marketing. So I compliment the person that's putting on the event. You need to come up with what that is for you. You must offer products that you can sell from the stage. So in the day, when I first started, people used to offer $3,500 packages from the back of the room. And you literally got to go to a seminar that they were putting on, and you got maybe a CD set or something. Well, those days are done. But back then, if you sold the $3,500 product, you would split that 50-50 with the promoter. So the promoter is like, I only want people on my stage that A, have a product that was $3,500 and knows how to sell a $3,500 package. Well, now it's totally different. $999 is probably one of the highest, maybe Bowie since 2000. There's a couple of 2000s still out there. There's a couple of 5,000s to be exact, but you got to be huge, to sell a $5,000 product. And I'm talking about as a guest speaker, how to get on someone else's stage. So 2,000 is pretty much a high number right now, but you have to give 1,000 of that to the promoter. If you have a $2,000 product and the promoter knows that you can sell, you're going to get on stages everywhere. But right now, even if you have a $497 package and you're good at selling that package and the package is actually worth it, and they know that you follow up and you don't have a bad reputation, that you're not following up, which some speakers have, then you will get on stages, but you must have the products. If you want to be a guest speaker and you don't have products, you're not going to get on stages. You're going to pay to be on stage, and then what? You're going to offer a book for $20. The promoter is going to say, I have a 1 hour slot for you. I need to make at least $5,000. And if you sell 25 books at $10, that's not going to cut it. So I try to share with speakers that want to get on big stages, you got to have a $497 price minimum. Now, give them the farm for $497. Give them the online courses. Give them an event to go to. Give them all your books, and then you only make $250 from it. But once again, this is a qualified lead that paid money to go to a seminar, paid you $497, even though you're giving away half. But this is a qualified lead of somebody that is on fire. They want to succeed. That's why they're there. That's why those free seminars aren't good. But if you don't have products, and you don't have some package for at least $497, it's going to be hard to get on other people's stages. I'm not saying it's impossible, because even 197, you could still get on stages. 97, you could still get on stages. I'm talking like those are smaller stages, but absolutely you could get on stages for even a 97 and 197. But wouldn't it be great to come up with a 497 package that was worth so much more than 497, and because you gave them everything, basically trying to just get a qualified lead. That is the game. Number 6, hire an event planner that works almost every weekend on other stages. So Tony Caruso, as everybody knows, is my event planner, and she's out there now on she's event planning, but not only that, she's speaking on a bunch of other stages as well. So, and that's what I've had when I first started. I had an event planner that pretty much worked every weekend, but she ended up not being good. Not going to go into that story, but let's just say there was money that, anyway, you know this, it's bad. And this is a long time ago. None of you know this person. So don't think, oh, it was the last person. No, no, no. None of you know this person, so don't start thinking who it is. You don't know this person. Anyway, so Tony Caruso, though, is great because she gets out there. She's with other associations as well. Everyone knows her. So it's great to have someone like that doing your events, because if they hear, hey, do you know a great marketing speaker? She might say Craig Duswalt. She might, maybe, you know, if it's a good day. But she has a pulse on the industry. Number 7, sign up with a few speaker bureaus. So all you got to do is Google speaker bureaus and just see who's either in your area, who aligns with you. So there's a couple. Here's the one that I signed up with a long time ago, speakermatch.com. If I remember correct, because I'm not with them anymore, but if I remember correctly, they charge a small fee, but they really do get gigs. They used to be really good. Don't know if they're still around because I grabbed it from another. I'm sure they are, but just check it out, Speaker Match. But if you're not, if they're not around, which I'm sure they are, but if they're not, just Google speaker bureaus and just look at them all and see if you're a good fit for them. And they 99% of the time will not charge you to be part of their speaker bureau, and they just try to get you gigs, and they take 20% is the standard fee. So if they get you a gig for $10,000, they take $2,000, you get $8,000. But trust me, it's well worth it. RockStar Keynote Speakers, www.rockstarkeynotespeakers.com, is my speakers bureau. We started it, and it was going slow about 4 years ago because my wife was still she still is with Peak Models, but now we have a staff. So we were starting to run it. We were dabbling in it a little, you know, getting the website up and all that. And then we started getting speaking gigs. I've gotten Glenn Morshower, Chris Harrison, Dean Kane, Lee Steinberg, a couple of people that you don't know, some speaking gigs, and myself. And then so we started getting good at the end of last year, and then COVID happened. You know, but that being said, just go to rockstarkeynotespeakers.com. We have Lee Steinberg, the agent, Derek Hall, he's the president of the Arizona Diamondbacks baseball team, Les Brown. We have Bo Eason. We have tons of great speakers. And even if you never get a speaking gig from Rockstar Keynote Speakers, you in the mastermind, if you are a speaker, if you have spoken before on stages, and you must have spoken on stages because you have to have a sizzle reel, at least a 1-minute sizzle reel, and you have to have the topics. All you do is go to rockstarkeynotespeakers.com. You look at my page, Craig Duswalt's page, and all you do is model what I have on my page, and you model it, and you just replace what you would talk about instead of what I would talk about on it. And if you do that, you email it to Katrina Garcia, and Katrina will then upload it all there. But you have to have all the stuff that I have on my page. You must email me. Email Katrina Garcia what it is. Okay. You must email her exactly what's on my page, but for you. Don't copy my stuff. Now, my suggestion is Like I go out for $10,000 to $15,000 a keynote speaker. If you're just starting out and you want to get gigs, my suggestion is go out for $2,500 to $5,000. You just say, you give a range, it'll say range, and you're going to put, if you want, $2,500 to $5,000. If you want to go out at $10,000, that's fine. I might not be able to get, it depends on how well, you know, your background. But that being said, you must be a speaker, you must have a sizzle reel. I don't know why everyone in the mastermind that is this doesn't do this. Even if I never get you a speaking gig, you're going to be on the same page and the same speaker bureau as those other speakers that I just mentioned. So get your shit together and email it to Katrina Garcia. Now, some of you have done this, and we dropped the ball a little during the COVID and maybe even the month before because of the transition of the whole Kartra thing. So if you are one of those people, there might be one or two that, I think it's okay now. I think everyone's up to speed. But if you are, and you're not on the page yet, redo what I just said, okay? So you should all do that if you are a speaker. You have to have a sizzle reel, that's the key, and you have to be a speaker. But you don't even have to be Les Brown, you know, just have something. Anyway, enough of that. If you want to speak to the youth or college, you have to get an agent. Just so you know, we talked about one of the gigs that you could get as a college speaker or youth speaker. You need an agent for that. Now, I don't have an agent to speak at colleges, but I'm blessed that I speak at colleges just, I guess, because of my resume, and I speak at Pepperdine, and because of that, I've gotten other universities because of that. So I don't have to have an agent because it's not my focus. And if I get a college gig once in a while, that's great, and I keep 100%. But I do not know any agents for the college market or the youth market, but you just Google college speaking agent, youth speaking agent, and then just submit. You know, tell them you're on RockStar Keynote Speakers Bureau, send them your sizzle reel, send them your stuff, send them your topics, and try to get an agent, and then they'll book you. Adam Ace has an agent for comedian, and his agent focuses on comedy. Otherwise, I'd send you there, but it's mainly comedy. Buy your way on stage. Number 9, you many seminars, including mine, have sponsorships. My seminar costs $50,000 to put on. $50,000, 50 large ones to put on. So it's a lot of money, and I use my sponsorships and the tables and speaking slots to pay for that, so I'm not negative before I go into the event. It's my job to get people there for the presenters and everybody, and I do a very good job at that, but don't be afraid to buy your way on a stage. Now, you gotta make sure that the person that's putting on the event is a good marketer, and everyone is gonna tell you, listen to me closely, everyone is going to tell you that they're going to get 500 people there, or they're going to say 200. Subtract 40% from that number, and that's a good day. So if someone says they're going to have 100 people, bank on 60 max being there. So in your head, you're really paying for an audience of 60 people. Do not think that a speaker or promoter is ever saying, I have 100 people and 150 are going to come. Because there's no way they would say sell short. They're going to over say. So just know who it is. See if they have a track record of attracting 100 people, and you have to determine, is it worth it to pay $500, $1,000, $5,000? I charge more than that to be on my stage, but I get a lot of people. So just know the audience and make sure that it's your audience that you're speaking to. But don't be afraid to buy your way on a stage. I have paid to be on stages. Many high-end speakers that are out there have paid to be on my stage. I'm not going to share who, but major people have paid to be on my stage. And I have paid to be on other people's stages. Do not have ego here. It's okay to pay, but just make sure that you're getting what they say. I put just show up as how to get speaking gigs, because if you want to be in this world of speaking, and if you want to do seminars and put on things, you got to go to other ones as well. So when I first started, I went to everything. Almost every weekend I went to some event and I stayed the whole time. Now I don't do it as much now because I speak now and I go to the event because I'm speaking there. But I still go to events that I'm not speaking at. So you need to do that as well. If you want this to be your business, you got to go to events and you got to pay to go to events. And you can get cheaper tickets if you know somebody. I know a lot of people that do events. I probably could get better priced things. Just ask us in the Facebook group. Hey, I'm going to Brendan Bouchard's event. Does anyone know a discount code for Brendan's event? Something like that. That's what the Facebook page is for. Just show up. Number 11. This is funny. I put this in here because this is how I started. Hire a business coach, kick butt, and they'll probably put you on their stage. So I signed up with James Malinchak's coaching program. He was the speaker coach back in 2008 or 2007. And I sunk a lot of money into it. And I had an internet marketer, Tom Antion, spent a lot of money on his as well. So I went to this event. A lot of you know the story. I'm not going to share it now. I went to the event, signed up for 2 coaching programs, and literally 9 weeks after I signed up, I wrote 4 books. I wrote 4 books in 9 weeks. So my business coach, James, is like, I don't know, who the hell is this guy and how did he do this? But because I wrote 4 books in 9 weeks and I had done an event in the first 4 months and I had 200 and something people at my first event, he was like, I'm either a really great coach or this guy knows what he's doing. It was a little bit of both, but he promoted the hell out of me because I was his golden child client. So I say that if anyone's in my mastermind, you'll see. If you're doing something good and you're kicking butt on something, I try to bring up as many people as possible at my events. Just randomly, just mentioning at least someone in the audience. I try to do that. It's hard because I have so many people, but I try to do that. But if you're that person, you better believe I'm going to promote the hell out of you because it's going to make me look like I really did good as a business coach. And that's the way you should be thinking as well. You should be thinking, I want to kick butt so Craig notices me more. I know all of you, but and that's what I did. I just said, I'm going to kick butt. This guy's, there's no way he's not going to put me on stage because I'm going to make him look good. And I would get on stage and gave him all the credit and said, he really did. He showed me the business of speaking, and I gave him full credit for that. So do that. Number 12, speak for free. Do not be egomaniac here. Speak for free. I speak for free all the time. I speak for free at all these events, but I'm allowed to sell something. So I better be good at making an offer from the stage so I could actually make some money. But just so you know, in the industry of speaking, keynote speaking, I get paid to speak. I usually get $10,000, and if I have to be there a little longer than a day because of travel, they'll give me $15,000. So I'm $10,000 to $15,000 for a 1-hour keynote. But they also pay for my flight, and I ask for business class. They pay for my flight, they pay for my hotel, and they pay for my meals. That's all negotiable, but I get paid to speak at this keynote. But if I'm speaking at an entrepreneur event, where like a Brendan Bouchard, Lisa Sasevich, Laura Langmeyer, Tony Robbins, Brendan, all those type of people, I have to pay my flight to get there. I have to pay for a hotel. I have to pay for all my expenses. And when I sell, and I'm speaking for free, and when I sell something, I have to give 50% back to them. So I better be a good closer on stage. Otherwise, I just spent a lot of money and didn't make anything. And that's why you need the products, and that's why you need to be good at your call to action and give so much value that they can't say no. But speaking for free is what I do a lot. But I make money on the back end. And I said this before, but I want to put this, how do you get speaking gigs? You become a great storyteller. And I will say, over the years, that I can finally say this, I am a great storyteller. I'm a really great storyteller. I get that now. I can tell the same story over and over and over again, and Melody Keemer Harper will still laugh. She'll still in the front row, and she'll still laugh. And she says it to me all the time. I've heard this story 3,000 times, and I still laugh. Number 14, take an improv class. Glenn Morshower has come to numerous boot camps. Yeah, yes, that. But numerous mastermind meetings, and we do improv classes. Walt Grassel in the mastermind does numerous improv stuff for the mastermind as well. But that's just randomly once in a while. You need to take an improv class. Everyone does this, no matter if you're a speaker or not. Everybody should take an improv class. If you're in LA, Hollywood has tons of them. But every city has an improv class. You just Google local improv class, and I guarantee there is at least 10 in every city. And you should do this because it teaches you to think on your feet and teaches you how to be creative when you're like in front of people. Like not that we could all be creative at midnight when we're in the shower, running errands, we're doing that stuff, we're very creative. But try doing it when people are watching you and you have to think on your feet. It is an art. I've taken improv classes and acting classes, and I know for a fact that's why I'm good on stage, because I've taken those classes and I can think on, like, you just give me a subject, I can run with it for hours, and that's training. So don't think you have to be born with this. You can train to be a great improv person by just taking an improv class. So you should all take improv classes. Now, I just said that I'm not in these, but I still think that you should all join Toastmasters or NSA. Toastmasters is like $4 a year or something like that. It's something ridiculous. I think I'm exaggerating a little. I think it's like $39 a year. Hey, are there any Toastmaster people on here?
Yeah, it's about $49 every 6 months.
$49 every 6 months. Someone needs to talk to these people and raise.
Well, and it depends on the club and that. So I think I pay $65 twice a year.
Okay, but Toastmasters is great, and here's my Toastmasters. I'm not in Toastmasters, never been to Toastmasters, but I've spoken at about 15 Toastmaster conferences, just meetings, like with 100, 200, 300 people, and I spoke at the Toastmasters National Convention, whatever, they have one a year, and I spoke for 800 people, and I sold a $97 package, and I think I'm not even joking, I could be making up a number, I think it was 140 I sold, and James Malinchak was there because it was in Vegas, and he was like looking at the line. Did anyone sign up that's online? Merv, were you there, that one?
Yeah, that's the one where I met you, Craig.
Okay, so Merv was my line at the end of that. Did you notice the line? Was it like?
It was, so I walked away and I came back and you were still there.
He left. So
but here's who sold me was Tyler.
Yeah, see, I use my kids for that.
Yeah, because he was so well behaved. I thought if a goofball I toured with Axl Rose could have a well-behaved kid, he must be real.
That's awesome. That's so funny. But the great thing about Toastmasters is, talk about getting speaking gigs. So I wasn't even in Toastmasters and I got speaking gigs. But they have these big events. Each what are they called? What are they called?
The international conference.
No, each local meeting. What are they called?
Oh, the TLIs, Toastmaster Leadership. That's where you spoke.
Okay.
You spoke for District 12, and I happened to miss you, and that's when I found out who you were. People were talking about you, and so then I started looking you up, and that was probably about 7 years ago, 8 years ago, something like that.
So they're districts. That's what it was. So they have all these districts like everywhere. So you should join one if you're not in one. Even if you're not like a professional speaker, there's so much fun. And then NSA is National Speakers Association. I've done it. I was in it for 1 year. I joined NSA 1 year just to try to get on their stage, and it was already booked. So I stopped, and now I'll probably join again because I want to get on their stage because they have a lot of people and they're all speakers. You should join those. To get more speaking gigs, Google the following words and add a city after it. So we talked about this before, but this is what I used to do. I'm not even joking, every single day. So I would Google networking group, Santa Clarita, association, Santa Clarita, meeting, Santa Clarita, meetup, Santa Clarita, Toastmasters, Santa Clarita. So, and then I would do Saugus, and then I would do Stevenson Ranch, and then I would do, so just wherever your area is, you just Google all these, and there's tons of these these type of things all over the place, and they're always looking for free speakers to do 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes to their group. So you should all be doing this. My phone just went off. Hold on. Oh, that's no, I'm not going to answer that. Spam. So anyway, you should all do this. If you want to get little gigs for free to sharpen your skills as a speaker, this is where to do it. And that's all you have to do is just Google. Like, there's so many tips and BNIs and provisors and all those things in your neighborhood. Every meeting they need a speaker. So if you've written a book, you show them your book and say, hey, I'm available to speak for free. And then you offer a very low end price. Like, this is where you either just get them to sign up for your opt-in box, or you sell a book for $20 just to get them on their list. Create a speaker brand that is related to a popular name for most events in the country. I just threw this in here as an outside the box thing. When I called it RockStar Marketing, I started getting speaking gigs as opposed to when I was America's shoestring budget coach, because a lot of people put on, become a star in 2020, be a rock star this year in your industry. You'd be surprised. So try to look at what trade shows are happening, conventions, what they call them, and try to have at least a sub-brand that relates to something like that. 18, very important, to have a media page where you can send everyone that needs your bio, your headshot, your interview questions, etc. This makes you look like a professional. So how to get more speaking gigs? You have a media page on your website. Just go to my website, CraigDuswalt.com, go to my media page and just see what's on there, and just do that for your page. Because eventually, if you start getting speaking gig after speaking gig, they always ask, can you send your bio and your headshot? Then you have to copy and paste. I just send them to my media page, and it makes me look more professional. I had a website page specifically designed for meeting planners. So when Tony says, hey, Craig, what do you need for this gig that I'm putting on as a speaker, I'll just tell Tony or another event planner that's hiring me, just go to my meeting planners page, and it has all my requirements. So I asked for a wireless lapel mic, or the head thing that goes on the whole head where the mic comes down. I asked for a table at the back of the room. I asked for a table on stage so I could put my t-shirts on there. All those things are there, and it makes me look professional, and it makes my life so much easier. But more importantly, it makes you look like a real speaker.
Also, Craig?
Yep.
Can you, when you're doing that page on your website and you have your bio on there and you have your picture on there and maybe an introduction, make sure we are able to cut and paste from there, because if I have to sit and retype it, I'm not going to be happy. No. So make it so that you can actually cut and paste the information.
Oh my God. Thank you, but like I would think that that's pretty self-explanatory. If the meeting,
it is not. It is so not.
I get it. That, which is sad, but yeah, you got to make sure they can click on it and get it, or they can copy and paste it, or they can upload a picture of something. They will never ever retype it. Oh my gosh, that would be. Oh, you've had to do that? Oh, bless your heart. Number 20, inform meeting planners. This is my, this sounds like a joke because it's in my outside the box marketing, but this is seriously, and I know you all know the story, so I'm going to gloss over it really quick. But how I started as a speaker was telling event planners and meeting planners that I would be great after lunch, because every speaker in the world, nobody wants to speak after lunch. It's the worst slot. Everyone's tired from lunch. They're falling asleep. And I used to thrive on that because I'd come out with loud music, throw the t-shirts out. So I would tell them, look, I'll take your worst slot. I'll speak after lunch. And everyone would be like, oh, yeah. And they would appreciate that I got everyone pumped up after lunch. And it started with T. Harv Ecker's company, Peak Potentials, which is now called Success Resources America. I still speak there to this day, but I was their after lunch guy for years. I spoke at Guerrilla Business School, Millionaire Mind Intensive, all those things, and all after lunch. Now, I'm the before lunch guy. I'm the featured speaker. That took like 10 years to get there. But tell them that's what you will do. You'll get so many more gigs. I don't even know why I put this in here. As the hotel you're speaking at, if you could put your t-shirt on display in the lobby gift shop. I have yet to do this because I forget every single time. But the great thing about doing this is hotels always have business people at the hotels. 90% of the time during the week, especially, is business people. And if they're in the lobby gift shop buying a Snickers bar, which they all do, they're going to pass the t-shirt rack. And if it has Rock Your Life or the name of your event on there, and that event is just another place to put in the back of their minds that you exist. So if they ever saw Rock Your Life, the t-shirt in the gift shop, and then they walk through the lobby and there's more Rock Your Life stuff, it's gonna hit. It's more places to put your stuff. Not really how to get a speaking gig, although you never know, the more times that they see your brand, they might go, okay, wait, this person's everywhere. You know, maybe I should look into who this is. Number 22, I put this in again because a lot of people don't do it, but just photograph and videotape the entire event so you can promote the next one. The idea is whenever you're speaking on a stage, you got to photograph it, videotape it, make sure you're from the back of the audience so you get heads so it looks like people are actually there, and then you have sizzle reel to get on stages. So many times people forget to do this, which is crazy.
Hey, Craig, I'm interrupting again.
Yeah,
someone had asked earlier what a sizzle reel is. Can you explain that?
It's a really hot piece of tape and it sizzles and you touch it and you burn your fingers. Okay, maybe not. It's your best stuff. How do I explain what a sizzle reel is? It's your best. So, okay, I'll explain what mine is. My sizzle reel has literally me speaking one sentence. It's about a minute and a half video, CD tape, MP4 file that has you speaking on stages. I like throwing words in there like exciting. I even have one of the most popular speakers in America. These words flashing on the screen in amongst me, pictures of me speaking on various stages in various outfits, me throwing out t-shirts to the audience to show excitement, me with a guitar in my hand, even though I don't play guitar, but it's just an exciting 1 minute, 1.5 that promotes you as a speaker for them to book you at their next event. In my speaker reel, my old one that I haven't changed because it still works, you can go on my rockstarkeynotespeakers.com and see the sizzle reel there. I literally speak one sentence, maybe 1.5 sentences in my 1.5 minute speaker reel. So you don't have to be heavy speaker. In fact, you shouldn't be. Just give your best 1 or 2 sentences 3 or 4 times, but make sure it's in a different outfit, in a different venue. The idea being that you speak all the time in different places. So it's just your best stuff, your best inspiration, your best motivation, your best pictures with some cool words flying in and a call to action to book you at the end. So to book Craig Duswalt at your next event, either call this number or go to craigduswalt.com. That's the sizzle. Number 23, create a top 10 list of the best in your industry and put yourself at number 4. This is just an outside the box one, just for fun. So I've done this once. I had someone do it for me. Trust me, there's tons of these out there where someone else is promoting somebody and that person's name is like in there. So as a joke, create a top 10 list and put you as number 4 because you don't want to be number 1. So I put Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn, Les Brown, Craig Duswalt, Brian Tracy. And then James saw that I did this and he paid me like $100 or something. He gave me something, I forget what it was, to put him at number 9 on the list. So now he's in my PowerPoint, which is smart, actually. So that's just a fun one. Now this one is a fun one usually, and you all know this one, but I put this here for how to get speaking gigs because I have not done this specifically, but I was thinking when I was putting this together the other day, I'm going to throw this one in there for how to get speaking gigs for this reason. You put the magnetic business cards or a card that says book Craig Duswalt at your next event, and then park your car, like the minivan, like this thing, you park it at events that are going on. So parking lots at events, like at the LA Convention Center or something. So I used to say, to promote your business locally, you just park it at the local Walmart when you're going shopping, and all these are magnetic cards. People take them, but now I'm thinking, to promote yourself as a speaker, go to an event and put your book, Craig Duswalt, at your next event card, because everyone there is either doing events or they want to do events. So I threw that in there for that reason and that reason only. Okay, I'm going to stop the share, and now I'm going to talk to y'all and see how many are. Oh, there's 27 now. So if anyone has any questions about anything that I've just shared, now is the time to, I didn't see my chat because I was, things. Any questions about anything speaker related? Yeah. Yes, definitely. Yeah. Oh yeah, you should definitely do that. No one was saying anything. Oh, people are invited to a ton of first open house on Saturday, June 4th. Oh, that's good. Teresa Cherry is inviting everyone to a visionaryspeakers.org. See, you should all go to that. 9 to 10 on Saturday, virtual Toastmasters open house. You should go to that. Catherine used to put her cards in restaurant area bathrooms, rest area bathrooms when she traveled. That's awesome. That's something I would do. Jim Rome died in 2009, and he still gets more speaking gigs than me, Murph. Yes. Oh, Teresa Cherry just updated. It's June 6th. Oh,
yeah, it's on Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday.
On Saturday, and it's a virtual club. So if you want practice on speaking on Zoom or on virtual platforms, it's a great organization. And we need members, so come on by.
Hey, do they ever do live events?
We have not, actually it started out as a hybrid club.
Okay.
Where they had, because we've got people all over the United States, but primarily because it's District 1, it's based in LA. So, right in your backyard, Craig.
Yeah.
If you ever wanted to become a Toastmaster.
I know, right? I just want to.
Oh man. Anyway, talk about, you would be so intimidating. You know, we're all up there practicing our presentations, I can imagine. But never mind. You are not invited. Everybody else come. No.
I might actually show up. Hey, it's a technique. What is that? Fire breathing. Fear is gets your adrenaline going. What are you guys doing here? Gail, Tony, Laurel, Gail, what's that? It's a technique for getting interesting. It's in part with Tony Robbins. Oh yeah. So when I was with Tony Robbins, I don't know if this is what you're all talking about. We used to help people get fired up. Well, I did this first, and then we used to help people get fired up to do the firewalk. Has anyone done the firewalk?
I have.
Laurel, anyone else? Oh, it is the best thing in the world. So the first one was at least within 15 feet it was, and you had somebody there getting you in the adrenaline phase, and he works 2 hours before you even go outside to walk on the fire. He gets you prepared for this. And
you start after midnight.
It starts at 2 in the morning, exactly.
2 in the morning is unbelievable.
And everyone's like exhausted, but they're brainwashed.
I did mine in LA, Craig. I wonder if you were there.
Oh, what year? Do you know?
Oh, I can't remember. A long, long time ago. It was one of the big hotels downtown LA.
I did a lot of LA ones. I did the Pasadena one, downtown. So anyway, so he would so there'd be all these crew that are trained to get the person that's about to walk on the fire, get them trained, get them ready to like amped up. And it's all about getting them to say, I forget what we got, but it was when they're walking, they had to say cool moss, COOLMOSS, as if you're walking on cool moss. And 4 hours prior to walking on coals, I'm like, oh my God, we're gonna walk on coals tonight. This is a load of crap. There's no way I'm gonna be able to do this. I can't believe he has people doing this. How many people get burned? And then I'm getting up there, and now I'm amped because he's been amping us for 2 hours. And then you get to the thing, and you have to hit yourself, and the crowd just amps you up. And then you walk across, and you don't look down. You look straight ahead, and you walk, and you say, cool moss, cool moss, cool moss. And then you walk across, and then you put your feet on grass that's wet, and there's no burn. And I'm like, how did that happen? And then when I went to the Mastery University, we walked across 60 feet, 60 feet, firewalk, and did the same exact thing, didn't burn a thing. People that burned actually freaked out, looked down, stopped saying cool moss, and paused for a second, and then you get burned. But it's something to do with like karate, where martial arts, where you can break bricks and something. The energy just goes to your feet or something, and you don't get burned. And it's a process of getting to that point where your adrenaline is so high that you feel like you can accomplish everything, and that's the metaphor and the reason why he does it. It is, I feel, the most powerful thing I've ever been through is firewalking and jumping off telephone poles.
And you can do fire breathing before a big event.
Now, I have not done fire breathing.
Yeah.
What is that?
It's very physical, and you're reaching way down to the floor. You're actually bringing the fire into your body and envisioning it, and being out there on stage and giving to the audience.
Oh, I like that.
And you're breathing in. So.
And Roseanne, you're right. It's power. It's mind over matter. He is telling you, you do this, do what I say, you will not get burned. 60 feet. You know how many steps that is? And the bonfire they build is at least 2 stories high, and then they take all the wood from it, and they keep feeding it. It is red hot burning embers that you're walking. It is insane, right?
Hey, Craig, the speaker one sheets is a method of advertising yourself as a speaker.
Oh, I forgot to put the one sheet in.
I always print extras, and so I stick some in the back of the airplane seats. I stick them like wherever people are charging their phones or whatever, wherever there's an empty space, a chair, walking through the airport, because airports are great places to get get opportunities to speak.
I think that's awesome. Yeah, I did the books, as you all know. But yeah, putting those flyers everywhere. I forgot to mention the one sheets. This is crazy. That's another way to get speaking gigs, is you need a speaker one sheet. We talked about that when I did speaker one sheets. So I forgot to put it in this presentation, but we should all have a one sheet. And all you have to do is go back to the presentation on speaker one sheets to see a bunch of speaker one sheets, how to do them and why what.
Also, I heard the story, Linda, I can't think of her last name. She's the woman that does the body image, the FBI profiler. She was the eWomen.
I know who she is. I don't know her last name. I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Okay, so she told the story that she was in a hotel, and the hotel had a huge conference, and it was like, let's say IBM, huge conference. And she was standing in the back looking into the room at the people that were there and just checking out the room. And she saw that the meeting planner in the back was freaking out and walked past her, and she kind of grabbed her and said, "You look very upset. Is there something I can help you with?" And the woman goes, "Oh my God, our keynote speaker, they didn't make the plane. We're missing them. They're on in 10 minutes. And she goes, "I'll do it for you." Yeah. And she's like, "Who are you?" And she did a quick 160-second. She goes, "You're on." And she's been doing the keynote address at IBM at this convention for the past 15 years.
OMG.
And it's just a matter of just being aware of what's going on, you know, because you never know, and being ready to, you know, opportunity. What is that? Luck is opportunity.
I had that happen one time, and it was because people knew that I was a speaker within the room, and they were like, "Go get Melinda. She can pull us out." And that's really exciting when they're like, "Hey, can you help us out?" And you're like, "Yeah, absolutely I can. I want to make you shine. I want, you know, I don't want you freaking out."
Yeah, no. And believe it or not, obviously not this group. There are people out there though that go, hell no, I'm not ready yet. I need to perfect my speech, and like, no, just go up there. If you're ever given an opportunity like that, you just go up there and just wing it. If you're not prepared, if that's an opportunity thrown your way, wing it and just speak from the heart. And we all know what we know. We all know what we know. It would be great to have it organized and perfect, but just share what you know. And just.
Greg, will you at some point in time, maybe not today, but are you going to talk about selling from the stage? That's a piece I really need help with.
Yeah, I can do that. I will do that. Yeah. But then I'd be giving you all my secrets.
Thank you.
I'm kidding.
Well, and also not just
from the master. I'm sorry, Tom.
Not just selling from the stage, but knowing when to sell from the stage, and knowing that a 20-minute speech is not a $3,000 product, you know.
Right.
Amen, sister.
Yeah.
That's
I'm not going to share whose event it was at, but I think, Tony, I think you were an event planner there, and someone did I want to say it was like a 15-minute speech and offered like a $2,500 package.
I know, we know exactly who that was. And
I was in the back of the room going, does anyone listen to me?
No.
Does anyone ever effing listen to me?
No.
Guess how many that person sold?
0.
00.
Right. And that same event, I got up and I did, I think, 30 minutes, and I asked for emails and came back with 100, you know.
Exactly.
So.
Oh, to the email thing, another way is the texting. I had on the boot camp, I had the text 66866, the one word. Yeah. And so they get the tip sheet and you get their email. Did you get a lot? I did. Good. Yeah. I got quite a few.
It's very easy. Text marketing is great.
Just make sure that the Wi-Fi in the room is good and everything's working, because I did do that the first time and nobody could get on their phones in the room. It was a hole.
Yeah.
So
Roseanne, if it's a last minute gig, take in some deep breaths while walking on stage. So I learned this actually from Tony Robbins, which is funny. Before I go on, and I'm a mouth breather, just so everybody knows, I'm a mouth breather, because I had sinuses my whole life, but now I'm pretty good. Before I go on stage, I take major inhale through my nose and breathe out through my mouth like 10 times, and it really brings. And then I get amped to go back on stage, but it just puts me in a way better state. So thank you, Roseanne. That is a great thing to. And I'm a mouth breather, like the worst. I speak incorrectly. I'm a mouth breather. I'm a disaster on stage, but you know.
But you're great.
Thank you.
I thought you were saying you're a mouth reader.
Yeah.
No, breather.
Yeah, but Craig, the beauty of that is, as you were saying in the beginning, if you speak from the heart, and everything comes through authentically, and it doesn't matter, that you're missing out on a special technique or this or that, because you're you, and then no one compares you to anyone else either.
And, and my biggest thing was I used to lose my voice, in 5 days. Now I lose my voice in 3 days because I know I'm only there for 3 days. So I go all out right when I start, which is wrong. But, and I've been told in my audience, there's so many people that come to my events that are voice trainers, and they say, Craig, you're going to ruin your voice. You're speaking incorrectly. And I say to them, I with all due respect to you, sir, I get it. I know, but I'm not going to change. I'm just not. I know I speak incorrectly. I don't speak from the diaphragm. That's why I lose my voice. But I get so excited on stage that I don't even want to think. I don't want to do I'm 58. I only have to last 30 more years, basically. So I think I could last 30 more years.
Okay, Craig, for the last 3, I just have to say, Craig, the last 3 years, you have not lost your voice.
I haven't, because it's down to 2.5 days.
No.
No, I'm better because I you know what I do? I go to the back. I don't hobnob out front as much as I did in the beginning.
And you don't micromanage and yell at people.
And I'm not, well, that's true too. I have a better event planner that I don't have to yell at. But other than that, seriously though, people might get the wrong impression. Oh, Craig doesn't want to come out front. I only do that because I do have to save my voice. So that's why I do go backstage, because if I was to talk in between every session, that's when I was really losing my voice. So.
Craig, are you also going to talk about hanging around after you speak to do some networking?
What?
So quite often if I'm in New Orleans, especially New Orleans because it's so close to home, if I'm on early in the morning, I'll just stay the rest of the day. And then I end up talking with people and meeting people, and it's amazing how much business has come
I see where you're going. Okay, so and I will share that I am not perfect at this anymore, so I'm going to be totally transparent. But every event, when I first started, up until maybe even 3 years ago, I got there in the beginning of the event and I stayed through the whole event. Now I have older kids and there's so much going on, so I don't have that. It's not easy for me to do anymore. However, I am very aware that when I speak, I try for sure to at least stay the rest of the day. Yeah. Especially if I'm speaking in the morning. I sell, there's the initial rush to the back of the stage, you get that. But I would say if I sell 50 at an event, I would say 15 are in the hallways after I spoke. So at eWomen Network, the greatest example I have of this is I spoke during the day. I did a 10-minute with Sandra on stage. And then at night, 9:30 at night, when everyone is so exhausted, I did 2.5 hours apparently. I thought I did 2 hours, but everyone said I went till 12 o'clock or something. So I spoke till 12, and that's the time I sold like 84, and Tony and Tim are like, this person wants a flash drive, and Tony's like, you ran out. And I knew I had like 84 of them. I'm like, what do you mean I ran out? And she goes, you ran out. And I'm like, oh shit, sold a lot. So, but after that was over, this is midnight now. And then everyone's talking for like, Laurel was there. Laurel re-signed up for my mastermind there. So anyway,
I was there too, Craig. That was awesome. That's the first night I met you.
The energy in the room was electric.
It was electric.
Yes. It was like everyone was drunk or something. I don't know what was going on, but it was amazing. So this is the story though. Tim Gillette and I, we have spent like all of us, all the mastermind people, Tony, Tim, Laurel was there. A bunch of us stayed till maybe 12:30, 1 o'clock. It's now 1:30 in the morning, and Tim Gillette and I are walking back to the lobby area, and these two women walk in from, they went out after, I guess eWomen ended at 8 o'clock that night. And they went out to dinner, and they went to a bar across the street. They had dinner and went to a bar. Well, everyone from my speaking gig went to the bar after, enough people went. So these two women come back at 1:30 in the morning, maybe 1:45, and they see me because I had my jacket on, and they're like, are you the speaker that spoke tonight? And I said, yes, and Tim will vouch for me. Tony, were you there too? Right, Tony was there too. They both signed up for my they both bought the courses that I sold. They didn't even see me. They heard at the bar, there was this great speaker on, and you missed them, and they came back to sign up, and they didn't even see me speak. So there's the benefit of like staying around. You just never know. I make so many more sales. Peak Potential, Success Resources America, I actually sell more after I stay than I do at the back of the room because they're so overwhelmed. Because I speak before lunch now, so they go to lunch and then they sign up later. So I make sure I hang around as long as I can. I used to stay the whole time. but I at least stayed one full day now, and I try to stay the whole time, but I'm not perfect at that now.
And can I add that the next day you were gone, and I was literally running from table to table in this huge conference room, picking up people's forms and getting their credit card information because they were still signing up.
They were still signing up. I wasn't even there.
Yeah. But I do want to say that I absolutely love it. And several people have done it at your boot camp. I've seen it done several times at events, is when a speaker gets up on stage and says something like, you know, I was speaking with Laurel over here and she's a real estate agent and she said blah, 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 blah. And then I was talking to Katrina over here. They're actually talking about people in the audience, which absolutely gives you a relationship with the audience that you didn't even have. But that meant that you were there in the morning, you were talking to people. Most of the deals are made during lunch, during coffee, in the bathroom, and at the bar. I swear.
Well, the bar is this new one because I never used to go to the bar, but now that I'm an alcoholic again, I'm joking. I have a glass of wine at night. But Tony and their group hang out at the bar, and I just started going one night, and I realized, oh my God, this is so much fun. And now I have had people sign up. Michelle Mraz, M-R-A-S, signed up in the bar one night at the Sheraton Gateway. So the bar is my now second favorite place to sell my products now at the events. And I'll have I had one martini, and Tony's like, uh-oh, Craig's having a martini now. Cause if I have a martini, knock me out, I'm out. Cause literally it's wine. That's all I can handle.
Craig, that night was just so, like Laurel says, it's electric. And we, believe it or not, we had just gone to dinner and come back and we were dog tired.
Oh, I know.
Dog tired.
And
you amped us up so greatly that we're like, who is this guy? This guy's awesome.
Well, and the best thing about it was Craig totally screwed up the entire presentation. It wasn't in the order he was supposed to do it. Slides were coming up. It was so off that it was absolutely perfect.
It was a new presentation because I had spoken the year before, so I did a new. Oh, was that my first time? I forget.
It was your first time.
That was your first time at
E-Women. Oh no, it was the second time at E-Women.
That's what I'm saying. This was my second time at E-Women. At that time.
Well, all I know is that was the first time I'd ever seen you or heard of you, the whole nine, and you were very authentic in the way you came across, and you made us giggle, and you just rolled with it. When your slides weren't working, you're like, what the foo?
It was a new presentation because I didn't want to give the same one. But the deck, usually my confidence monitor in front of me would have the next slide that's coming up, and it didn't have the next slide because the presentation was off, but it was 9:30 at night and the good AV people were gone. So I was left with the B crew. So I didn't have the right presentation. So I'm winging it. And a slide would appear and I'm like, oh, that's not supposed to be there. But like a good speaker does, I just went with it. And all the mistakes that I made that night, I think led to the authenticity of like, oh my God, this guy's making mistakes and I still don't care. And that's,
and it put us at ease because we were in that space of we wanted to maybe be speakers, we wanted to be seen and get heard. And here was this person who had all this, practice and skill set behind him and all this experience, and yet you were showing your humanness, and we're like, oh goodness, we can do that.
Yeah,
we can do this.
Screw up just like that guy. Exactly. And then the other thing was I played because, if everyone remembers, there was another room next door before me that went late. So not everyone was in the room in the beginning. So I played extra Name That Tune, and I was very smart. All the Name That Tunes for the E-Women were about women. All the songs I chose that night were all about women. And you women went crazy. It was just and like Tom Jones. I played a lot of Tom Jones too, which was kind of fun.
It was a large room and standing room only.
It was standing room only.
People heard the noise and they came over to see what was going on. It was a perfect way of starting things out.
I was playing the concert next door, right?
What did you sell, Craig?
I don't know exactly, but it was probably something like my event, 2 tickets to my event, a ticket to my event, and then you could bring a spouse or a partner or an employee. My flash drive. And then if I remember correctly, I sold like 2 webinars maybe.
Okay.
It was a podcast or something.
Oh, maybe it was a podcast or something like that, yeah. But it was the easiest sell I've ever done in my life, by far. I could have sold rocks on the stage.
Ice to an igloo. Ice to an Eskimo.
Ice to an igloo that night.
I have to tell you, Craig, that was amazing because that was the first time I have ever gone to an event like that, ever. And first time I ever opened my wallet and credit card for anything. That's the truth. So I was like, wow, this is awesome.
I know. A lot. And keep in mind, too, yes, I guess I was on energy that night, but the audience, you know, my son always says, my son Tyler, my oldest, he always says, okay, so we had people over the other night for graduation. We had just a select couple of families, and we all did social distancing in the backyard, but it was like 5 families and the kids, 5 of their closest friends celebrating Ryan's graduation. Aww. And so we're sitting there by the fire pit. Everyone's like a big, gigantic circle far from each other, and we're at the fire pit, and I tell Tyler, who's in charge of the music, play Ghost. Now, Ghost is a band that if you listen to the band, they're very pop. They're like, they're not heavy metal. They're just like hard rock sometimes, but very melodic. But my school is Oaks Christian School, and Ghost has words that maybe don't align exactly with Oaks Christian School. Let's just put it like that. So I tell Tyler, hey, Tyler, go play a Ghost song. And he looks at me, he's like, Dad, read your audience. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, you want me to play Ghost? You're not reading your audience. And it's like older, my age people. And I'm like, no, just do it anyway. And he puts a song on and everyone's like, what the hell is this crap? And he's like, Tyler's like, you didn't read your audience. Well, I read that audience that night, and I'm really good, like the improv stuff. This gig that we're all talking about was not a typical speaking gig. I turned it into, and I deliberately did this when I saw what was coming through, the energy just coming into the room was different than a regular speaking gig. I turned my presentation, in my mind, my mindset at the time, it was a party. I made my presentation a party style presentation. Everything was fun. I was laughing. I was being Les Brown. Every time I said something funny, I laughed at my own jokes, you know, and the energy, and it was easy because the energy in the room allowed me to do that. If it was a dead room and I tried to do that, oh my God, it would have been a disaster. But this is where you need to read your room. And I knew this was a party waiting to happen. And I went with it. You know, I just said, okay, this is going to be different. This is totally different. I played more music. I was backstage adding more music to my Name That Tune on my iTunes. And I just knew that this was going to be a long introduction because they didn't care about marketing at this point. They wanted to party, and that was the MC of the party on stage. And that's what sold everything. And now I did give information now, but it was definitely a party, you know. Anyway, I think we're done here. What cute dog and great Jess and chair, Melinda. Oh, where's your dog?
Thank you. On the floor whining to be fed.
Mine's outside. We have to miss him for 10 days. All right, everyone. I put up I put yesterday's mastermind the 2-hour meeting yesterday. That's now up on the site, and this one will be up today because I'm leaving. So I'm going to put this up on our membership site. Okay?
Have a great trip.
Thank
Have fun.
Bye, Greg.
Be
Be safe.
Stay safe, everyone.
safe.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.